While Sandy and Danny's on-screen passion was heartwarming, it was the real life spark between John and Olivia that set tongues a-wagging.
There was a lot of speculation about whether Olivia and John were actually doing it because there was so much chemistry between them that it was hard to imagine that they weren't.
The dynamic between John and Olivia was electrifying.
Blue moon.
Just the look, the dark, swarthy Travolta, and the fair, gorgeous, blonde Olivia Newton-John made our jaws drop.
Sandy! Oh, Sandy.
John and Olivia were very, very attracted to each other, and in an innocent way. And they both had relationships on the outside of the film set, but they definitely had sparkles for each other.
Yeah, I think John and I had an amazing chemistry, and we were very close, and we never dated really, but there was a great chemistry between us, and thank goodness, because it really worked for the role.
I chose Olivia for the movie, so I think we were quite fond of each other, and I think that energy was real, you know, and was very honest. I could not imagine anyone in that part more than Olivia. She was perfect casting.
She was the one that he wanted, ooh, 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 but he nearly didn't get her. Olivia was set to turn down the hottest role in Hollywood, fearing she wouldn't pass as a teenage heartthrob.
I mean, I was 28, 29 when I played the role, so to even been playing like a 16, 17-year-old or an 18-year-old who I was supposed to be, I was worried about that in the beginning, you know. I asked them if I could do a screen test to make sure that I thought I could pull it off, because I was a bit concerned. So John agreed, and we did a screen test, and then I watched it back, and I could see that we had chemistry, and that I looked okay, that I could pass for it, because we were all older, so it kind of worked out in the end.
They may have been the oldest teenagers in town, but they were living life in the fast lane.
Most of us were a little bit older, you know, than the teenagers we were playing. So this gave us the license to be as horny and as crazy and as, you know, flirtatious as we wanted to be as high school seniors.
What's your name?
Marty.
Marty what?
Maraschino. You know, like in Sharon?
I think that period of adolescence is very sexy because there are two things operating. One is I'm a good girl and I don't, and the other is I'm so bad and I might.
One of the things that's fun about this movie is that we could act like we were wild and bad girls.
Go ahead, try it. It won't kill you. Give her a hip hooray. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you shouldn't inhale unless you're used to it.
It was a cocktail of nicotine, 90s and nail varnish, but it isn't easy playing a teenage tearaway when your hair lets you down.
I had started going gray when I was really in high school. So by the time I did the movie, my hair was well on its way to the white hair that you see today. I had a part down the middle and those ponytails. My hair grew very fast, and you'd see this white hair growing down the center. And rather than have me look like a skunk, they had dark-colored crayons, and they would crayon in my part every day to make sure that it would match.
Brush up, knocks out, DK, germs fast, faster, sure, all right.
Filming Frenchie's sleepover was the best time I had on the film. I think it was the scene where all of us really actually had as good a time doing it as it looks like we had.
Look at me, I'm Sandra D, lousy with virginity.
That scene was at a high, wild energy that we played that. And before the scene, we were fooling around with each other and pillow fighting.
We were telling dirty jokes. We were really having a good time. And we were doing each other's nails. I think Reese touches that perpetual teenager. I think the material just triggers that kind of juicy, sexy, fun spirit.
Elvis, let me be!
And we giggled all through the whole thing, and we tickled each other and made ourselves really find that, you know, that special teenage kind of sleepover, you know, let's make fun of the good girl.
Bongo, I'm Sandra D.
And Olivia really stuck bravely to her naivete while we filmed the scene. She never allowed herself to be one of us. You know, she didn't partake in our antics. She really stayed in her character.
You're making fun of me, Riz?
Some people are so touchy.
The world's most famous high school students took their roles to heart and left maturity at the studio doors. For this gang, any time was playtime.
It was kind of like the cameras never stopped rolling. It became very easy for us to refer to each other as, hey, Putsy, or hey, Sonny, Duty. It was a nice shorthand for everybody, and it seemed to make sense because the whole shoot was a 13-week party.
We would fool around, clown around, as we did on screen, pulling pranks off screen as well. It definitely spilled over.
We stayed very much in character, and the relationships were very much the same ones that you would see on screen.
Grease may have been set in the 50s, but the sexual revolution of the 70s was in full swing, and the cast were making sweet music together.
I, at the time of the filming, was involved with a young lady, and so I remained a pretty good boy. Everybody else seemed to be having a grand old time in their honey wagons, rocking back and forth.
I couldn't wait to get to work every day, and I used to hang out a couple hours afterwards. Extracurricular activity.
Speaking of that, I remember one day, do you remember this? All the girls would come in dancing. All the girls would come in, and then they said, take, and we started doing it, and they were missing 2 girls.
Yeah.
And I said to, I said to Alan, he says, wait, he's like going crazy. And I said, no, they were Jeff.
Yeah, they were Jeff.
And his trailer was rocking. They were Jeff. And they're doing the dance out here, and they stopped it, and then they go to Jeff's trailer, knock at the door, and Jeff's in there with 2 of the girls. You know, they're just discussing things.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain.
Jeff Conaway certainly took his bad boy image to heart. He rocked and rolled his way through cast and crew.
Gracious, great balls of fire.
I think every girl, down to the last extra, maybe seamstress, had a crush on Kinnicky, on Jeff. He was hot stuff.
Balls of fire.
Jeff has always had this marvelous, macho, sexual thing dripping off of him. And he was very appealing to the ladies. I mean, he was footloose and fancy-free, good-looking guy, and he made out like a bandit.
What's up, Kinnick?
Guess.
You got a lot to offer a girl.
Yeah, you know it.
I was pretty bad. I was living the role, shall we say, sowing some wild seeds, and so I was quite busy.
And he gave new meaning to necking.
I got so many hickeys, people would think I'm a leper.
Everybody knows this line. A hickey from Kinnicky's like a Hallmark card when you care enough to send the very best.
Cheer up. Hickey from Kinnicky's like a Hallmark card. You care enough to send the very best.
I insisted that if she was going to have hickeys, that they were going to be for real. So I gave her the hickey. I just like a vampire descended upon her and sucked on her neck till she got the real thing, you know.
You pig.
I love it when you talk dirty.
There's nothing like reality and truth in art, you know. Plus, it was kind of fun.
For the sex scenes, Jeff always came prepared, as it were, and he had a big surprise for Stockard Channing back in his passion wagon.
I brought all these, like, naughty magazines, and I tore out the pictures of the girls, and I pasted them all over the inside of the car. And Riz gets in, Soccer gets in, and she says, "Oh, great, it's a porno shop in here."
But remember how surprised we were when Sensible Sandy chucked out the chintz and became Randy Sandy, the Virgin Vamp? We weren't the only ones.
I walked out on set and I had my hair and makeup changed and no one recognized me. And all the cameramen and everyone suddenly, they all turned around and they stared at me and they were all flirting with me and wolf whistling. And I thought, they didn't know who I was, seriously.
All the people who work on the movie, there was, who's that? You know, and we didn't even know who she was.
Sandy?
Tell me about it, Stay.
It was one of those musical numbers that I couldn't wait to perform. So I was chomping at the bit to get going on it.
When John saw her, I mean, we all got chills. They're multiplying.
I got chills, they're multiplying.
He was so turned on to her, and she was having so much fun playing this hot mama role, foxy lady.
It's electrifying.
Ooh, 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 honey. Yeah, it was fun.
You better shape up, 'cause I need a man.
Olivia was truly stitched up when she wore the tightest trousers in film history.
They literally had to sew me into those pants in the morning. So I couldn't drink a lot, of course, because I didn't want to have to pee in the middle of the day.
To my heart, I must be true.
I remember loving walking behind Olivia, looking at her bottom, you know, and like almost like a kid, you know, just captivated by this girl that he didn't know existed. He sees her body for the first time, and he's, you know, just dazzled by it, you know, this kind of thing. So I liked that.
But which was the real her, posh or spicy?
I think there's a little bit of me in both characters. Then to play the saucy side was a lot of fun, and a place I hadn't really gone, particularly on screen. So I really enjoyed that. Being able to play those two different roles was really a challenge, but really a lot of fun for me.
Feel your way. Wow! I better shape up, 'cause you need me.
I wasn't in that number, so I spent a lot of time in the trailer, if you know what I mean.
I was just thankful that I wasn't wearing pants as tight.
And coming up next, another one for the boys. Grease Lightning had them grooving in the garage, but backstage, sparks were flying.
Step aside! Trying to get this thing into the park.
Here we go. Yeah, you better move it. Step aside, move it.